could make it into a different fist.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the LCS and the LCS waiting room. Kobe's back!
Hey!
So there's that. How many times? I think it's you, right? That whenever you come on, we only ever make it through like 2 or 3 topics total before we end up having to end the entire waiting room.
It's because you love delving into topics.
That's what it is.
Kobe's
Deeper.
very
It's because they're good
verbose.
conversation.
That's really what it is. We only have good conversation when Kobe is here.
What is happening?
Okay, what's happening? Good question. Off camera, there's some stuff going on, and it's perfectly related to our very first topic of conversation. Last week, there was a bit of debate over ice cream flavors, chocolate and vanilla, and then Emily
looking forward to this.
Emily Rand decided to take the conversation to a whole new level.
I mean, hold on.
Okay.
I said Team Liquid is like vanilla ice cream.
Right.
And Whippo is the exotic topping.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? And then
This is
we
where
even
this
asked
came
Whippo
from.
if this was an accurate analogy, and he agreed.
Right.
Yes.
So it was a
Is
great
exotic
analogy.
the word they
Yeah.
used?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
but
it
I'll
could be
give it to
anything.
him.
It can make
I'll give it
It's like
to
a
him.
flavorful
And then Emily was like, and chili oil.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Everyone looked
Well,
at
that's
her
what
like
I'm
she
saying.
was-
So it went from like a debate of vanilla to chocolate to here's what TL
Get in
is.
there.
Their vanilla with something exotic on top, and then Emily's like, I got something exotic
Looks
for
beautiful.
you. It's
Got
gonna be
some
ice
toppings?
cream with chili oil.
This is a very nice presentation.
Is this your
Beautiful
chili?
presentation.
This is homemade chili oil.
I was gonna
that I
say,
made.
break it down for us, Emily.
Yeah.
What goes into this chili oil? This is your personal recipe?
No, it's
Thank you,
from
kind sir.
it's from a blog called Walks of Life.
Ooh.
And so WOKS.
Walks, yeah.
Yeah. And thank you. It is you basically boil the oil first with
Thank you,
like
chef.
star anise, cinnamon, cloves, Sichuan peppercorns.
Szechuan peppercorns?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have some
tastes-
numb.
Okay.
Hey, do you have
Sounds
to,
like it
do you
won't
have to
be good
cast
with ice
later
cream.
because you gotta be able to feel
So
your
we don't,
mouth.
we don't want this to melt. So Emily, it looks like it's mixed.
Yes,
No?
they mixed it,
Okay.
which
Okay.
makes me happy because
So we good to just dive in?
that was the thing. Yeah, that was the thing I was worried about is that it would be like all oil or all chili.
How much
and that
pepper
would be
flake
bad.
and oil do I want in the scoop? I'm just gonna follow.
By the way,
I mean,
this
yeah,
is
I would
literally
just,
the
like, separate
first thing I'm consuming today.
That's
Is
not good.
ice cream with chili oil.
So
on
you've
it.
done this before. Like you actually
All right.
do this because
I have
you
done
like
this
it?
I'm diving in. I'm just
I have
going.
a
I'm
lot of
getting
flakes
in there.
on my first
All right.
bite.
Yeah, is this like, is that going to be too much?
It's not spicy at
Oops.
all to me.
It's not spicy to you, but is
No.
that a good bite?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a good, like, the idea is like the ice cream in and of itself, like how you drink milk with something spicy. Like, it's supposed to be sweet and spicy.
It's good.
That's good.
Yes, okay,
but it's
thank
really
you.
weird.
Kobe's
I don't
still,
know.
like, very
I
not
ate a
sold.
breakfast burrito. I don't know if this ice cream with chili oil is going to be the best
Have you tried it yet, Kobe?
follow-up. No.
Get in there. It's actually, I am pleasantly surprised
This is
with
like
how much I enjoy this.
this is like a Lucian top with no front line.
There you go.
Like it can be good, but
It's not a good ice cream
Describe.
base. I don't even like the ice cream itself. I don't
Well,
think this is good vanilla ice
I did ask
cream.
what kind of an ice cream, and they did not answer me.
On that, Kobe, I'm kind of with you. I have just these. Oh, God.
So
I need a napkin.
Okay,
That was awful.
no.
He's gone. I can carry. All right.
Thank you.
The interesting part to me, like, I love the flavor. The oil being on the ice cream is the weird part.
Okay,
It's like-
that's fair.
It's like putting olive oil on ice cream. Like, it's just a weird. I'm sure it would taste good.
I feel
I
like
like
people
it.
have probably done that.
No, this is actually very tasty.
Wait,
I'm with you though,
yes,
Kobe, because
is it no?
here's my thing. It's like vanilla ice cream though is still just like you can't dress it up enough to make it good to me.
I think
Like,
that's my main problem right now is I'm just not enjoying the vanilla ice
Team
cream.
Liquid could
All
win
right.
the split with
But
this.
onto the point of the
if this was Team Liquid, they could win.
onto the
There you
point
go.
of the oil though. The oil is not. I don't think oil is good. I have learned that I'm not opposed to spicy ice cream though.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
spicy
good.
ice
Alright.
cream flavor. It's
I've actually had like a honey cayenne ice cream.
That sounds like
that
a very
sounds,
really
that sounds
good.
way better.
It's so good. Yeah, I'll
Wow.
take you to a place in San Diego. It's really good. No, this chili oil is
That's the same
fantastic.
concept.
Okay, we're gonna continue eating this as we move on to some other topics.
Are you
well,
sure we don't want to just
Um,
continue this conversation?
I mean, I'm super into it. I can do it. All right,
Yeah,
next up.
Like I was validated.
It was good. Thank you.
We're going to talk playoffs, but kind of from the perspective of getting a sense of what the playoff picture would look like if the season ended today. So this is a bracket taking the current standings into account, in which case both TL and C9 tied for first in the standings would be placed seeds 1 and 2. TL up against 100 Thieves in the first match, C9 against FlyQuest, and then obviously Golden Guardians and EG kind of being seeded into the lower bracket. But I thought it would be kind of interesting to discuss at this point, how this matches up to preseason expectations of which 6 teams would make it, and then ultimately how we think that this bracket would play out in its form.
So I think the big thing is the FlyQuest up in the upper bracket. Like, if you were asking me, like, immediately post lock-in, I definitely would have swapped EG up there. So it would have been, I don't know if it's in this order, but, like, the 4 teams in the upper bracket would have been TL, 100 Thieves, C9, and Evil Geniuses.
So TL beats 100 Thieves, Cloud9 beats FlyQuest. Those both go down. I think 100 Thieves beats Golden Guardians, and EG beats FlyQuest. So the EG beating FlyQuest is the only like upset for me.
Okay, then who wins between EG and 100 Thieves?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. This would be one of those situations where I think there'd be a lot of Twitter complaints about like TL having to play 100 Thieves in first round. They'd be like, why would we not get to pick our opponent? Something like that. Which I believe you're not allowed to pick your opponent. You weren't allowed in summer playoffs or last year either. I wouldn't be too surprised if this is something similar to what we get though, with the trajectory of these teams.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the fear for FlyQuest fans would be that they fall out of third and down into even fourth. So while they might remain top side of the bracket, you are now against the 1 seed.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
You know.
What I think this kind of illustrates with how strong TL and C9 are, being third or fourth, even though you like get the bye, doesn't actually seem that good.
No.
The way this works, for those of you who are having trouble reading, the top 2 matchups are double elim. The bottom is single elim. So being 5th or 6th technically gives you like less room for error, but I think 100 Thieves would be the only team that really wants to get top 4, because I think they might have more internal confidence that they can actually beat TL or C9 in a best of 5. Whereas I think for the other teams, it's not going to happen.
What?
Yeah.
They've just resigned themselves
Yeah.
to imminent defeat at the hands of...
I have. That's not how it works.
Be real. How I think TL and C9 right now would be considered heavy favorites in a postseason
for sure.
kind of situation. So I kind of align with you.
FlyQuest obviously wouldn't resign themselves. But
Yeah, but you want your chance. You take your 10% chance.
yeah, you do.
Always,
You should.
always shoot that shot, right? But the other thing I wanted to talk about was kind of this idea that right now TL and C9 feel head and shoulders above the rest.
Yep.
And so while that may or may not be the case in another few weeks, I wanted to talk about how these 2 teams not only might match up against each other, but how they would perform internationally. We always love that conversation of what's the best looking international
Well, they'd win, of
team.
course.
So one,
Big dub.
One, this comes from Ryan. Between the 2 teams, who in theory would do better at an international level? But also, who do you think would actually go? Again, this would be as of right
To
now.
MSI, you mean? So we only have to choose one.
You only have
Or
to
we
choose
get to
one and then make the case for how you think they would do internationally.
I will choose the new Team Liquid because after finishing out Core JJ's green card issue and having him be a stable factor, I think this team just shows so much versatility and is not the old style of Team Liquid that people are used to talking about at international events. Because the biggest thing, whenever we would go with Team Liquid as one of the representatives, people would be scared that they were going to revert to slow scaling style compositions. But when Core JJ is in this lineup, he turbocharges it. He's always either getting a 2v2 kill bottom pre-5 minutes or ganking mid and getting summoner spells or getting kills in mid lanes literally 5 minutes into the game. So I think that him plus Bwipo being added to it gives this team way more early game than international Team Liquid has ever had.
I was talking with Emily about this while we were waiting for COVID test results. You had some thoughts on international league this year.
I'm really down on League of Legends in general, like every team. No, because I look at, for example, like T1, who's like super undefeated. They're really fun to watch actually right now. If you look at their most recent series, you have FLICKR bringing out the Kai'Sa mid. You have Keria like engaging on Tom Kench, and it's just like phenomenal. But I still see like, flaws in their gameplay. Same with every single LPL team. I actually think LPL as a whole, like I'm looking at even, so the top team is Victory 5 right now. We were talking about this off camera before. I think they have holes. That being said, I am also going to say TL, and it's more because of, I think their understanding of like leveraging pressure across the map and their attention to side lanes is the best right now in the LCS. And I think that's really important if you're going to be going up against any international team.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I'd give TL like a puncher's chance.
Okay.
I'd give C9 a puncher's chance too, just because.
Wait, what is that?
TL is better.
What is a
TL is
puncher's
better.
chance?
So a puncher's chance. Have you ever heard this term?
You
What is
always
that?
have the
Yeah, like a
opportunity to
lucky
knock
punch in,
somebody
yeah.
out,
So
right?
imagine you're in like the 10th round of a boxing match,
Uh-huh.
right? But the scorecard,
Okay.
right? You know how scoring in boxing works?
Yeah.
Like after each round,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get like a
yeah.
10 or
Yeah, yeah,
9.
yeah.
You know you're down like 8
But I'm a
points.
puncher, so I can still knock you
But
out.
you can still land that hit.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm
like,
gonna keep swinging.
There you go.
the history of League and NA at internationals, I'm never going to be like, yeah, they're going to be the favorite. Like,
Yeah,
that's just
no.
a stupid thing to say, but they definitely have a puncher's chance.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to say.
Yeah.
We have a puncher's chance.
And
Well,
that's the-
especially in a single, like if we're still looking at group stage as like a single game round robin, like
That's great for punchers.
That's NA's best. That's NA's best hope, baby.
But okay, but
'Cause
sticking in this
once
analogy,
you get to best of 5, it's gonna be difficult.
sticking in this analogy of punchers, Cloud9 feels like the punchier team.
Yes.
In the LCS,
boom,
yes.
boom.
So like again, in a single game, you know, best of 1 round
Right.
robin. Yeah.
So let's count it off. Summit's been dominating.
Yes.
This is a huge strength. And this, for their matchup with Team Liquid, I think is one of the biggest things people are looking at is, you know, how much can Summit get done? Is the top lane going to be a big advantage there too? But also, Blaber has not been making the mistakes that people always criticize him for. He turbo stomped the Volibear game, an early game champion, when I was like, okay, it's Blaber, be careful. He literally got all of the early game kills.
Was it 6 kills?
If he dies, he's gonna give up this bounty. I can see it. But, you know,
die.
Blaber might just do Blaber and never die and never give up his bounty and go legendary. We're like, okay. So he just does that, you know? So I think that Cloud9 right now, especially with how well they're incorporating Summit and Berserker, are looking very strong.
One thing that was really interesting about that game for me specifically with Blaber is how much he was affecting his lanes early. Because when I think of him as a jungler, I definitely do still think of him more as like a carry, even though he himself has said like, well, Hecarim's fast is so like clear so fast, I can still affect my lanes early anyway. And when going up against like, especially some of these LPL teams that have like really, really early ganking junglers, like for example, a Kai'Sa or something, that's actually a really nice thing to see coming out of C9. I mean, we've seen Santorin do that too, right? We've seen him adjust his pathing to affect lanes early as well.
Well, both teams at 9-2. We'll see which one of those teams or any of the others. Again, you got to play through an entire playoff bracket to earn that spot at MSI. We'll see how they do if and when they get there. Switching gears, though, I want to talk about some individuals. Which player has been the most surprising, good or bad, this spring split? Decenti, generic Decenti is the one who sent this in.
Our
So,
producer let us think about
Yes.
this.
yes, we did. This is one of the
So
few
who's
waiting
going
room
first?
topics.
So
Let's
what
find
they
out.
did was they asked for the answer so they could make B-roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going first?
Who wants to go first? They'll
I'm
follow
gonna
you.
go first
Kobe's
then.
gonna go
All right.
first. Production's scrambling right now. Get the Kobe B-roll.
I'm buying them time right now with the finger guns.
Who's going to be?
It's
Kobe's
Ayla. Ayla, because
Oh.
Ayla
Okay.
had very few expectations on him. I mean, in talking to Spawn, the academy coach, yes, he's like, oh my God, this guy is just the best support ever. He's gonna smash in LCS, no problem. But Spawn is incredibly biased because not only is he his coach, he's also from Osh. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt.
He was his coach in Australia, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like, he's the most biased you could possibly be for a
I'm pretty
sword.
biased, too, but I knew he was going to do well.
So I was like, okay, so I have confidence, but he actually did exceedingly well on this team and filling in for literal Core JJ, our best support that we have in the entire league. I think Ayla did a magnificent job.
Yeah, literal Core JJ is much
Literal
better
Core
than,
JJ.
much better than figurative Core JJ.
I was gonna
but-
say literal best support
I got
in
you.
the
I
league,
knew where you
and
were
then I was
going.
like, Core JJ, it's actually a great supplement.
Echoing the words of Core himself.
Okay, I'll hop to you, Emily, next. So who did you pick?
So mine is Berserker, and it's not because I didn't think he'd do well, because again, I watched him in Challengers Korea last year, so I knew that he was incredibly mechanically skilled. The thing I've loved seeing from Berserker that's been so surprising to me is how, I mean, especially on the Aphelios, how aggressive he's been in team fighting with C9. It's actually not something I expected from him as much. I expected him to be a little bit more, you know, reserved, kind of just firing from the back line. We've seen him Gale Force in on this Aphelios so many times, you know, just like flash in and ult. Like it's really fun to watch, and it speaks to how much his team trusts him and how much he trusts his own mechanics and his team, which I think is really great.
I think it's also really funny because Gumayushi is stomping right now, and they asked him about Berserker's move over here, and he was like, I'm kind of glad Berserker is going to NA because I was a little scared he might take my spot. I'm like, that's what I want to hear.
Go.
That's nutty.
That's the confidence I have in Berserker. And that's why when he was coming over, I was like, all right, he's going to be good. I'm very excited.
It's other players talking about Berserker that make me hype about Berserker.
Yeah.
Like people who've played against him be like, he is really good.
That's always very cool to see. Also, I know that Wild Turtle had or maybe still holds the mantle for flash forward AD carry, but it feels like Berserker's coming for that title. Jat, you're up last.
Well, they said good or bad.
They did say
We're
that.
ending on a
And I'm
downer.
usually pretty positive.
Are you though?
I'm a pretty positive person.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with that.
I'm going to say I'm disappointed
Perspective.
with
Yeah, 100%.
Spica. Because, like, when is the last time we had a league MVP, then next split, be, like, near the bottom of the league in all stats and in last place? There's a lot, like, this is more of a TSM in general point because I don't think all the blame should fall on Spica, but he is the one who won the most valuable player last split.
Team diff.
Yeah, but they just haven't been able to execute. A lot of times, like, when there's a lot of changes around a jungler, maybe you'd see them become more selfish, but it looks like he is just having a huge issue lining up with people. Like, I thought at least with this TSM roster, like, if I think about the way they played a lot in 2021, they played a lot around top lane. Like, huhi was really good at stacking his waves at the right time, and bam, Spica was there, and they were making plays. And those two pieces were still there. So I'm thinking, even if the rest of the map's a hot mess, they'll make something happen around top lane.
Right.
That kind of hasn't happened either. So it's, like, if you just compare 6 months ago to now, hugely surprising to me that they're that far down in the standings.
I mean, what do you think it is? Is it that he feels like he has to play a different style of League of Legends that he's ever played before?
So I'm going to go to bat a little bit for Spica.
Okay.
There are definitely some mistakes, and especially in those clips, you know, where he's flashing over to teammates with a Lee Sin Q on him, and some mistakes that we would not be accustomed to seeing him make. So that is true. Also, as a jungler, it is very hard to play, you know, when you have a lot of losing lanes and when there are obviously much deeper things going on in Team Liquid right now. Or, excuse me, TSM. Team Liquid is fine.
Team Liquid is doing
It's like TSM, though. Actually, that's the Bjergsen connection. Actually,
That's
just
what it
kind of
is.
slipped in there. It's like, Bjergsen's gone, and they're screwed. No, there's so much. It really feels like, especially when you're talking to people on the fringes of TSM, too, they're like, TSM has some fires going on inside right now, and they have a lot of work to do, you know, to rebuild. And so, you know, it's also showing in, you know, Speak of
Something I really realized in the summer of 2020, which was like my first split as a coach, is all the like perceived best junglers were actually the best teams. Because at least with double scuttle meta,
Makes it easy.
It was so much more about like how does the team support the jungler than what necessarily the jungler is doing individually. So it is not like, it's still, crabs are not as good as they were back then, so it's changed a little bit, but it's hugely, hugely important.
Well,
Is it chicken or the egg, though? This is why it's always long with me on.
Yeah.
Is it chicken or the egg?
I know.
Are they the best teams because they have those junglers?
No, it was the team. Like in 2020, it was
Producers told me 2 minutes ago to shut up. 2 minutes!
He doesn't want to go.
I know he doesn't. He wants to hang out with us all
wants to
day.
have more
And
ice
I
cream.
get that, Kobe.
We got stuffy animals. and
I
ice
get
cream.
that. Hey, TSM, they did look better, picked up a win with Takeover
Yeah.
coming into the mid lane last week. We'll see if they can use that momentum to carry forward, and Spica might be able to turn a corner. With that, we're going to dive into our Saturday of LCS games. We'll see you back here in just a bit.
I would say us and TL are very, very different just because I think TL is very methodical and coordinated.
Down to 100 HP, trying to get himself out, but Bwipo's got the snipe. He doesn't die either. Bwipo stays alive.
We're sort of, I would say, chaotic and mechanical. We sort of just play fights out to outplay the enemy opponent.
Fire coming around from the side, he opens up and he tries to get right back out. Berserker's gonna be controlled, but Inspired's gonna be killed.
If they can win against us, maybe we can beat Blaber for this year. But I think we are just like a step ahead right now.
Of course, he already 3v1 Abbedagge. Your days are numbered, and that number is 0 and 1 for blood.
Berserker and Winsome is like they are not yet to be the best, but I think Ssumday is actually ready to be the best in the LCS.
Wow, Ssumday already popping out 1v1. Summit wins them.
Even if there's no like inherent advantage, he will try to press something. Like, he will try to squeeze water from stone. By nature, because I believe that my teammates are stronger than his, I will almost always try to neutralize him.
The flash play, Bwipo just spots him out of fog and deletes one.
It's just, I'm here to win. And to win, I believe in my teammates to win more than I believe me gapping Summit. Made a better bot lane win.
브이포에게 전하는 저의 메시지는 제가 경기를 함에 있어서 재밌다고 느끼는 게 당신밖에 없으니까 재밌는 경기 했으면 좋겠습니다.
Yeah, so familiar players at 100 Thieves. Yeah, closer FBI huhi competed with us, and it was 2020, right? Yeah, it was 2020. Yeah, worked with those guys the whole year. Actually, FBI and huhi worked for an academy the year before that when I was working there. Yeah, I've known those guys a while. You know, we went through some stuff together. I think we built a pretty good team together through a lot of ups and downs, and yeah, then they went to 100 Thieves. I had a lot of motivation towards looking at people that were kind of undervalued, especially like Golden Guardians. Is clearly, you know, we were operating like on a budget. We didn't have the same like spending level as the other teams, so I had to be pretty creative and look for people that weren't necessarily getting just recognized by the top teams, weren't getting hunted by them, so they were just like more in our pay grade. We could afford to get them. Yeah, seeing them go off to another team obviously sucked. We were not expecting that to be the case. Like our whole off season just getting kind of like thrown out the window because of COVID happening. That was a long time ago now, but the fact that happened just really sucked overall. But I was happy to see them stick together. Like they went over with Demonte too. No, it was nice to see. Like they eventually ended up making changes, which were like similar changes to what we were gonna make going into the next season. So still kind of got to see like the image I had for the roster kind of play out, even though I wasn't getting to work with them anymore, just to still like see them have success.
I think Gnar is a really good coach and really good person. I think he scouted me and made me come to NA, so I kinda owe him, and hopefully he will be successful. I think he's a really good guy, but still, I'm gonna beat you guys.
Welcome back to the LCS, where Mark is jumping onto the desk to join us for the day. I love getting to hear from both sides of that, you know, that trio of players that originated on Golden Guardians, swapped over to 100 Thieves, and a part of that championship-winning team. A little bit of heartbreak for Nero, though, you know, to watch the success of scouting those players, but to have that success come to fruition on a different organization, but it's
Yeah.
cool of Closer to be able to acknowledge
like
how much he owes to Inero for that as well.
Papa Smithy's probably raging at that interview because he's like, you guys didn't win a championship. I gave Ssumday and I put Abbedagge on there and I built it to an actual championship team.
I don't know.
get no credit for giving
starting to feel like we might have to split that trophy down the middle and ship half of it over to Inero. You know what I mean? Or maybe 3/5 of it.
Like somewhat ironically, unironically, like that was the conversation for a lot of 100 Thieves last year. It's like, oh, it's just Golden Guardians. Like for the first 6 months, it was basically like playing against Golden Guardians with like a different name.
Yeah.
They did make iterations that found the championship, which you have to give them credit for. But like organizationally, that's got to still be the feel from Golden Guardians. Like, oh, we had the championship components. Even Inero's like, oh, they went and made changes similar to the changes we were planning on making.
Exactly.
And then won the title. So they must feel like they were very close to a title.
Well, Emily, I'm going to pull up the schedule as we continue talking about this, but I think it's very interesting that these two teams are going to meet in the first game of the day, separated by only one game. So for all that talk about what 100 Thieves has achieved, right now the two teams are next to each other in the standings.
Yeah, and I know Golden Guardians are coming off a really disappointing 0-2 week from last week. However, I think this is, again, another kind of testament to, we had Inero on the desk, we talked about him having scouted these players and going through and thinking about, you know, like, this is why I thought, you know, Pridestalker was really good when no one believed in him. This is the kind of team that we wanted to have. I think his approach to scouting is really interesting.
Well, again, Golden Guardians, 100 Thieves battling in our first game of the day. But before we dive into that matchup, Ssumday sat down with Huhi to talk pro to pro.
Hey everyone, this is Huhi here. I'm doing another segment of Pro to Pro, and my guest today is Ssumday. And I'm gonna play 3 different clips for you, okay? The first clip is gonna be from the previous week, so here you go, take a look. If you remember, it's basically when you get Baron, and you gotta start split pushing. You don't really get much out of the Baron, you get 2 towers, and I wanted to basically ask you, on your team, who is the one that's deciding what you guys do when you have Baron, or who's the one that's shot calling you?
We usually talking together, like ask each other, and then we decide one things.
Are you taking more control of the comps, especially like when you're 5-0 and you're kind of the one that has to carry the game?
It's gonna be more responsibility than like I'm playing tank because I'm a strong guy and I can control the game. But still, kind of decide together and we doing one things.
Do you think that was a good or do you think that was a bad usage of your guys' Baron?
It's more likely safety than like high risk plays because there's chance we make mistake. But I think it made kind of good because gold-wise we got a lot from just one Nash.
Usually when teams get Baron, they like pushing all 3 waves and then grouping together to 2 and 1. So that's why I thought that was a bad Baron. You guys got 2 towers when I thought you could get on 3 or even an inhibitor tower. So in this clip, in the most recent game, you're playing Trinity again and you're split pushing. What makes you decide to rotate to the fights rather than just pushing on the side lane?
It depends on like who is bad or like usually I can because if I wanna 5-5 I can just rotate and then we can best fight. Or if I can just dive in 1v1 side, usually going for the death play because it's kind of hard to react opponent.
I don't think there's many situations where Tryndamere can tower dive Gragas late game, so then you kind of have to do these 5 vs 5s, right? Do you like that matchup then? Because the Gragas side of things, they want to team fight, right? Whereas the Tryndamere usually wants to split push, but you can't do that versus Gragas, so do you think that's a good pick?
The difference is I can just get their jungle camp and then they cannot stop me, so it's gonna be item will be big gap and bigger. And they're kind of hard to punish me, so I can always get a good position for like team fight. I can rotation first, so I think I like that matchup.
Alright, sick. I have one last clip for you actually.
You just want a front-to-back team fight, and 100 Thieves just wants to push side lanes. How are you approaching finding windows to actually be there in the fights and actually be in position to fight?
Well, you say that, but this game, the enemy Tryndamere did not want to be in the side lane.
They just
he was moving mid every wave he could, so it was much easier for me to find 5v5 opportunities. Not to say that it didn't work, like it did work. The results, like I was surprised as well that Tryndamere had so much impact in the 5v5.
So from that clip, you hear that Flippo is talking about how usually Tryndameres like to split push on the side lane, but in this game specifically, you rotate mid almost every single wave to try and start that fight. Do you have a reply to him? Be like, hey Flippo, this is why I did this?
I mean, the game is kinda they're winning, so I couldn't have a choice that much, and yeah, I just had to help my teams instead of I'm just pushing sides forever, because if I'm staying side forever, they're gonna just take the game.
So it was one of those situations where you felt as if you had to be there for the team because you have to either check Baron with them, and if you're not there, they're probably gonna die or get caught out.
Yeah, that kind of situation too, and I don't think like Team is that bad in team fight as well, so I just take the chance to win.
Got it. Cool. That's all that we have here today, guys. Thank you for watching, and look forward to the next one.
The thing I think that's super interesting, not only about hearing Ssumday in terms of like when he goes in and when he doesn't, is the fact that huhi previously in a stage interview said like Tryndamere is kind of a draft point around which the entire team can rotate while we're trying to figure some other stuff out internally. I also think, and I've said this ad nauseum on the desk, but the most side lane pressure that 100 Thieves has had has been when Ssumday is on the Tryndamere.
Yeah, and I also think there's been an issue with them closing out games in general, which is one of the reasons they're losing. To me, part of this has to do with their like first Dragon control. They used to be an incredibly good team at getting early Drakes so they could get towards Dragon Soul and use that as like a lever to end the game. This split, they just haven't been able to do that. They have a 100% win rate when they get first Dragon and a very poor win rate when they do not. So I really just want to see them have a larger focus around bot lane and that first Dragon.
Well, just taking a look at even the LCS average seems to indicate that in this league it is important to get that first Drakes. Right? Being 100 Thieves or not, but even more so 400 Thieves mark. I just want to get a final thought from you before we head out to the casters.
I just thought it was interesting how much more they're investing into Ssumday this time around with the jungle proximity and things like that when he was so often left on weak side.
All right, there you have it. Some thoughts from us, putting a spotlight on the top lane to see if Licorice can deal with the pressure that Ssumday brings. Over to Flowers and Kobe, who are taking the call for the first few games.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another weekend of some LCS action. I'm Flowers, that's Kobe, and we're going to be bringing you through the first couple of games here today, kicking it off this week with some Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves.
I'm excited. I've cast every single one of Ssumday's Tryndamere games.
Yeah?
Every single one has been amazing, even their loss. We also learned something in the beginning of today. We opened up the waiting room, and I've decided that vanilla ice cream itself is bad, and vanilla ice cream with chili oil on top of it is only slightly less bad.
Wait, you say the chili oil made it better?
It did. It actually did. It was slightly better. But only because of the chili part, not because of the oil part. The oil was, I don't know, that
I am pressing this X key to doubt because the chili oil on ice cream just does not sound
You need
like...
some spice on it, some flavor, some topping.
You need some spice on your ice cream? No! Okay, you know what? I'm abandoning this. This ship can sink. Goodbye. I will see you at the bottom of the river.
That's 100 Thieves final ban?
Yup, we're going in.
Chili oil.
Nope, we're banning this. Okay, it's Aphelios, Ahri, and Zeri banned out by the Golden Guardians. Over on the other side, Hecarim, Tahm Kench, and Graves banned by 100 Thieves.
Okay, targeting a bit of jungle with the Hecarim ban, but against Pridestalker, that seems like a drop in the bucket. Pridestalker has been one of the junglers that has really diverted from the meta jungle champion. It's been very happy to pick up these AD assassin jungle champs. And so a really good first pick here from Golden Guardians, grabbing the priority Ryze and setting themselves up for an AD jungler here. Meanwhile, Closer gets the Lee Sin. Also been one of his mainstays along there with the Viego. I honestly put their power very, very even for him. Even though everyone focuses on the Viego side, he also won them the finals with that Lee Sin.
And hey, they also got Jinx from Arcane, who has been an incredible staple in the meta here pretty much since Arcane.
And Seraphine from Captain Flowers' hate list, almost locked in.
That one didn't get locked in. That one didn't get locked in. No, instead we're just going to look back and forth between a couple of popular mid laners. We'll settle on Viktor for Abbedagge there for 100 Thieves. It is the Kai'Sa and Nautilus over there on the side of Golden Guardians. Yeah. So a little bit of uneven draft in terms of the roles picked in the first half here.
If they had not already locked in the Ryze, we would start talking about the LCK style mid Kai'Sa, the poke Kai'Sa that has become popular and that FLICKR use. But since it is locked in after the Ryze with the Nautilus, is going to look like the bottom lane there for them. We'll see about the build also if you're going to rush into the Muramana, kind of like the mid Kai'Sa does. Renata banned away though. No, I wanted to see some Renata.
R.I.P.
And again, it's against 100 Thieves. Every time we see this, huhi has played it a lot, very frequently on Champions Queue. So I was really hoping to see him especially get his hands on Renata, but is denied here away from the combo with Jinx.
And hey, considering 100 Thieves made sure they got their own jungler nice and early, and they also targeted Hecarim in the first phase of the bans, they're going to continue to target the jungle pool a little bit here. Volibear and Gragas both taken out of the picture, but back to what you already said, Pridestalker is someone who does not care if he gets knocked down a couple of rungs on the tier list, just because he's willing to play the weird stuff that other people are not willing to play. Tryndamere gets banned out though, so I am sorry, Kobe. There will be no Ssumday Tryndamere for you today.
It is a good ban though from Golden Guardians. 100 Thieves talked about it too in their interview after their draft, how they kind of use it as a building block for a lot of options that they want to be able to have to play out this game. And 100 Thieves will save their last counter pick for Ssumday. So even though Tryndamere is banned out, he will get counter on Licorice.
Yup, that's going to be dangerous stuff up there top side. Let's see how Golden Guardians want to navigate this one. Still need to see a jungler. Still need to see a top laner. They know that they got Leona down there with the Jinx now, so the top laner just going to be one of those safe blinds pretty much. Whenever Gnar is good enough to be played, Gnar is good enough to be blinded, it feels like. Sometimes he has a couple of really bad matchups, but usually he gets picked in these types of situations, and okay, it'll be Nocturne, the jungler for Golden Guard.
That's why we keep talking about Pridestalker being willing to play these AD assassin-type junglers, and Nocturne also fits into that boat. Now, the Bruiser itemization was nerfed, so definitely going to be excited to see if he goes for a more attack damage base, more lethal Nocturne build than previous. But as you're talking about the Gnar as well, yeah, it just takes maybe 1 or 2 protection bans sometimes to be able to get that blind in there, and it's answered with the Sion. One of the best, actually the premier tank currently. Him and Ornn definitely the best there for Ssumday, 400 Thieves. And this is one of the setups and the styles for 100 Thieves that they have shown actually consistency on, which is kind of rare for this team. But when they have Ssumday on either Ornn or Sion, having that tank from the top side does allow them these more structured team fights. So they definitely got a setup that they're happy with.
We're hopping back into Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. Dancing around objectives to get the perfect fight is a challenge every team is thoroughly tested on. In this assist, Closer displays incredible teamfight control, assisting nearly everyone on his team to get 100 Thieves through the fight.
JJ now dropping as well, a double for Abbedagge, and this is the team fight going the way of 100 Thieves. They roll more forward, can he get the CC? Yes, they root him in place, and Bjergsen is gonna drop as well. 100 Thieves crush the team fight.
Let me say this to you, Kobe, because a lot of late game power on the side of 100 Thieves. The Sion with the infinite health. Pridestalker focusing on here in this early game to make sure that 100 Thieves doesn't have solid ground to stand on and work towards that scaling.
The jungle. You thought I was going to say a lane, huh? Well, Pridestalker, Nocturne needs to focus on getting level 6 jungle.
Okay, clear them camps.
It's very, very important. Once you get your level 6, then you can try and attack these low mobility carries, the Viktor or the Jinx. Those are the two you're trying to blow flashes on early on and then Nocturne ult them. So whichever lane, either mid or bottom, can make the play and burn the summoner spell, that's where you send Pridestalker. That's where you go for this kill. Bottom lane is longer of a lane and has double melee supports, so you also have pretty good setup there and possibilities. Even if you haven't preemptively blown the Jinx flash, you can still make bottom side plays very effectively if you rush to a level 6, because as a jungle, your level then very comparative with the bottom laner levels, and oftentimes you can get 6 before the bottom laners and have this big ulti advantage for down there. Plus, Ryze. You want to unlock the Ryze first to be able to roam down to your bottom lane play. So if we are going to target the Jinx, which, Nocturne trying to get to level 6 first, you push out mid for your Ryze first, and then allow your Ryze to roam with you. That way, even if you get counter ganked, you'll have the extra advantage, and you should be able to win the even numbers play as well.
All right, drawing some little mathematical looking A squared, B squared. I was waiting for the C squared to show up through the jungle there.
This is going to be on your homework. I'm going to quiz you next week.
Oh, no, I think I'm going to be sick that day. Anyway, down here in bottom lane, we already got huhi going in. Him and FBI trading blows with the Golden Guardians. Just a little bit of damage back and forth. While we are bottom lane, I also do want to mention there is discrepancy in summoner spells for both AD carries and supports in this one. Lost running the cleanse to be able to deal with some of that CC threat coming out from the Leona specifically. FBI on the default heal. But then with the supports, huhi has opted for the exhaust to deal with some of that dive coming in from the Nocturne, protect these vulnerable carries in the Jinx and Viktor that you were talking about. Whereas Olleh is looking for more of the kill threat there with the Ignite. Pridestalker still just farming away and clearing towards the top side of his jungle as we check in on how that's going.
Yeah, it's always a very, very important thing for any, assassin player or melee carry player to always scan for exhaust on the opponent team. So I'm sure you're well accustomed to doing this. So good call out there, as that cooldown basically just nullifies Nocturne. It's so difficult. Your spell shield, though, is a very valuable tool when you're going in for these dives, and they're hoping that they're going to be able to coordinate, Gnar either TP and flank in, or just Ryze having flashes and flanks to be able to make sure that Nocturne is not going by himself. Nocturne always wants someone else to dive with him. It's extremely rare to be able to solo out the enemy carry in a team fight scenario, because they'll be peeling for you, and things like exhaust and all the stuns and peels and stuff will be there. Bottom side, though, is where Closer wants to go, right over the ward. Olleh and Lost will know, no problem. We play safe at our tower.
And I commented earlier about how 100 Thieves has this powerful scaling, and I really like the fact that they have an early game jungler to be able to try to get them there. As top side, Licorice takes a little bit of damage back from Ssumday.
Also, nothing really given up by Closer by going for that pass on bottom side, since he full cleared his top quadrant first before heading down there. And we're approaching 4-minute mark here. Should have everything cleared off the map for junglers, and you have plenty of time to go for your deep ward, go for your reset. The one thing we'll point out there is that Pridestalker now has verified info that it was definitely topside start. And they've got plenty of wards on this top quadrant, so they will see the second respawn of the neutral camps of Closer here, of Lee Sin, which is very important in tracking those early options that you were talking about for 100 Thieves.
Keeping an eye on the one man who's going to be trying to make those plays nice and early is imperative for the Golden Guardians to have success here in these early stages. The current gold lead is a couple hundred in their favor. That'll probably level out here as a couple minion waves get caught. But Golden Guardians, I want to see them active, man. As soon as this Nocturne hits 6, I want to see plays being made.
And Ablazeolive is following our arrows that we drew earlier.
Okay.
Push in mid.
He's triangulating.
Look to roam, look to get those deep wards on the bottom side. He's setting up the play for when he has roam up, for when Nocturne has ultimate, and they can dive bomb on the Jinx on the bottom lane. And honestly, this is a good strategy. If we zoom out to watch the Leona run through, but also to examine how these two teams have got to this point in the LCS. It has been Golden Guardians with massive plays. Okay, flash over though.
Whoa, okay, you want to talk about plays? Well, here we go. Huhi flashing in. He'll trade flashes with the Ablazeolive there, but doesn't do a whole lot of damage.
Does make the bottom side a bit more vulnerable for 100 Thieves for the possible level 6 Nocturne play, because then Huhi won't be able to get out even if FBI can't escape. But mid lane very attackable, and so blowing that flash is important here off the support roam, because Pridestalker is clearing on top side. Closer start off this dragon, and it should be 100 Thieves getting the bottom side objective first, thereby kind of reducing the value that Golden Guardians could get out of that possible bottom side play, because even if you get the kills, then you don't have an objective to pick up afterwards.
Right, plus the aggro in the mid lane and the attempt on Ablazeolive's life coming out from huhi made it so that wave was able to be shoved up by Abbedagge, meant that it's that much easier for Closer to take this dragon with no concern about being contested. And with Ablazeolive's flash down, I specifically want to see Closer go in to make an insect play mid lane as soon as he's got his ult now. Very clear targets on the map, I think.
Yeah, and they do have decent wards around mid lane too. They've used these control wards in their sweepers to clear out the vision around mid, around Ablazeolive, so he's definitely a possible kill target. I will say, for our goals for Pridestalker, focusing on his level 6, focusing on jungle and farming for the Nocturne to try and get there, he has just returned to full clear, and Krugs will be up here, so he'll approach his level 6 as he finishes these Krugs and red buff. And then we get to the exciting part of the game. We haven't had any attempt at the all-ins, any attempt at the exciting plays yet, because he was so focused on getting to that level 6, but both junglers having access to their ultimates now is actually going to introduce that volatility.
All right, Licorice is doing a really good job up here in topside so far as well. 66 compared to 38 in terms of farm. Been doing well, keeping Ssumday underneath the turret, making him miss a lot of that CS. Ssumday only has a Dorian shield and a tier to his name, so he will be stacking towards a Fimbulwinter, but it's still going to be quite a while before that comes online. Unfortunately, Sion doesn't really have super spammable spells, so it's not going to stack terribly quickly.
Yeah, a lot of the tanks do like getting the early tiers so that they can use their abilities to try and clear out the waves, but to your point, Licorice has been harassing him so effectively that this is an abnormal amount of CS denial, I feel like, and Licorice is doing very, very good, pushing the Gnar matchup early on very well here against Ssumday, who last time we saw him on a tank, we mentioned the Ornn. It was very good for 100 Thieves. He only went down 10 or 15 CS in total in the early game, and then brought the Ornn upgrades and the big CC that you need later. This time around, definitely a bit more punishing, to say the least.
Little bit rough up here in the top side for old Ssumday, but Golden Guardians, they now have their jungler at level 6. You can see on the side of the screen, Licorice topping those gold charts. Yes, both mid laners are right behind him, both AD carries hanging out there too, but Ssumday is only beating the supports, and he's only beating them by a couple hundred gold, so he's being left in the dust pretty quickly here as Ablazeolive rotates over to help Pridestalker make sure they secure this Rift Herald as Ssumday makes his way with the ulti back underneath his turret, where I'm pretty convinced he will be staying for the rest of this laning phase, my friend.
Yeah, he has picked up the Warden's Mail, so that helps a bit, but Gnar actually has some magic damage mixed into the kit as well, so is still going to be rough. And man, picking up the Rift Herald on top of it for Golden Guardians is the perfect recipe for their strong early games. That has been the tendency for this team. Now, when Pridestalker goes for his Nocturne play with the ultimate, he will also be able to cash in if they get a kill with the Rift Herald in the perfect location. So if you get a kill with your Nocturne ultimate, oftentimes you'll be able to push in on the turret with the lane partners that you were able to get that kill with, and hopefully take an entire turret with the Rift Herald.
Also worth noting, those flashes that we saw traded earlier in mid lane, Huhi and Ablazeolive got a little bit under a minute or so left, I believe, before those cooldowns are up and available. So if we want to see either side try to punish that play, it has to be very soon. Otherwise, we're just going to go back to the starting point on that one. Licorice continuing to clear out some vision up here. The Sheen in the inventory, too. Not only does he have the magic damage you're talking about with the hyper procs, but now every boomerang plus auto attack follow-up is going to hurt that much more. Times are just going to get tougher and tougher for Ssumday up here, trying to weather the storm from the little Yordle. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, looking at the build from Kai'Sa here, we've got the Serrated Dirk, the Warhammer, has the tier in the inventory, so still excited to see kind of what we're going to see out of this Kai'Sa throughout the game. Huhi level 6, FBI level 6, Olleh and Lost the same. I'm kind of hoping we just get a full-on 2v2 down here. I'm itching for some violence, buddy. It's 10 minutes into the game and still no first blood.
I can see you getting a little jittery up there. Flowers starts to shake a little if there's 10 minutes.
Just give me the Nexus Blitz Fire Ring thing. If you choose not to PvP in a PvP game for 10 minutes, you get the Ring of Fire.
Yeah, it definitely does go a little bit along the lines of what tanks and carries get picked in the games, and so it's not a huge surprise. And even this amount of burst damage, you know, I'm not going to get overly excited about in mid lane because it's just a chunk and no junglers or supports quite there to capitalize on Abbe's little exchange here, but it is going to be a 50% health chunk that will send Ablaze back to base and probably prompt the response of the teleport, so teleports will be matched. Licorice still has his teleport advantage though, so he's pressured Ssumday so much that his teleport advantage actually now timing out with the spellbook as well ready. But I think you're eyeballing the junglers, Clayton, to see if we can actually get one of these 2v2s or bottom lane plays to pop off. Dragon might be the site for the actual fight.
But the thing to remember is the teleports are not unleashed. It is still only 11 minutes into the game, so that means even if our top laners want to get involved, they're going to have to teleport to a turret and then walk their way over. There ends up being no fight over the dragon at all, and it's just Golden Guardians securing that one for free. That'll tie our Drakes up at 1-1. Golden Guardians have a 1.5 thousand gold lead 12 minutes into the game with an even Drake state. So the question I pose to you, Is that enough to feel good against the scaling of 100 Thieves?
I feel good right now. And again, these questions about scaling are projected at various different time points really deep into the game.
Right.
For the mid stages, Golden Guardians are totally fine. And they also have Rift Herald just used. So Rift Herald in pocket is more gold than he's even showing on screen. So that's going to cash in 2 more plates. Even maybe if Ablaze can get a few more autos off here. Finishes off the last one there with the Rift Herald swipe. So that is split between Ablaze and Pridestalker as well. And once Pridestalker gets to first mythic item,
Stridebreaker
is finally completed, with the slow being very useful for keeping people slowed and in your fear tether range. Although at this stage, when everybody has flashes, you usually still want to early flash. Get your Stridebreaker slow on them and early flash over them so that they can't get out if they decide to go for the play. But again, no openings have been made in the lanes. No lanes playing over aggressive, burning each other's summoner spells. No really aggressive, volatile trades have gone on. It's mostly been a handshake here for the early game, where now the time crunch, I do start to put a little bit more emphasis on the roaming from Golden Guardians. Those arrows we drew at the very beginning of the game with Ryze and Nocturne really wanting to make these roam plays. That necessity really starts to heat up in the mid game. You know, you've had access to these ultimates for quite a while now, and the mythic items are now completed, so should be ready to press some buttons there.
Otherwise, hope so.
Otherwise, 100 Thieves are like, you know what? We're getting a full scaling Viktor and Jinx ready. Okay.
Sion stacking health still. And honestly, I am impressed at the speed with which he has been able to charge up that tier. I was expecting his stacks to progress a little bit more slowly, but Ssumday's already got that thing 2/3 of the way done. Once that's completed, obviously he'll be going towards the Fimbulwinter with it. Also has the Balmy Cinder in his inventory now to deal with clearing the waves a little bit better. And he's been switched down into the bottom lane here to just sort of get away from that Gnar, who has a 55 CS lead over him at this point. And his job will just continue to be clearing waves while getting hit in the face over and over again underneath the turret, but at least it's a different flavor of that now.
Yeah. So since we haven't had any fights, we can start to build up the theoretical fights of how each team wants to execute them. Because, theoretical fights, right?
Oh boy.
You excited?
They're in my imagination is popping off right now.
Oh my god. Mini Gnar right now, though, does mean it's giving 100 Thieves the confidence to actually steal away blue buff here.
Nice.
So another non-confrontational exchange, as Licorice knows in Mini Gnar they didn't have any business going for it, but there's a Nocturne ultimate and the Realm Warp.
Here comes Ryze. They're ready to go. 100 Thieves backing away, turning it right back around. First blood over to Closer. He gets right back out. He stays alive. Pridestalker's about to die now, too. Super Mega Death Rocket barely goes wide, and it's still going to be a 1-for-0 play for 100 Thieves that Golden Guardians started off.
Oh my god, Closer just kicked him in the head. That was hilarious. 100 Thieves are so happy right now. They scaled really well through the mid game. And then the first attempt at the dive comp from Golden Guardians just gets stopped immediately. Ablaze donked right in the face there. Pridestalker flash was used as well. And 100 Thieves should be able to finish up on Rift Herald number 2 here. Yeah.
Man, that feels bad for Golden Guardians, forcing that fight and then losing it, and losing a big chunk of your gold lead on top, giving away that second Rift Herald. Massive swing there for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I'm hoping that we're getting the replay of the initiation because that was a great, okay, perfect. Ask and ye shall receive. Here it is. So watch Closer here with the kick, but as well huhi for the insta stun. Pridestalker ults in. He safeguards back. Huhi ease immediately onto Ablaze as the Realm Warp is coming in. That was so good from him. And he hits it right where Ablaze pops up in the Realm Warp. So Ablaze didn't get to move. He gets hit with the E into stun, and they have the kickback. So they try and get this dive play started up with Realm Warp coming in, Nocturne over the top. You're going to have Olleh trying to get his ultimate in there. And then Kai'Sa's supposed to ult in for the Killer Instinct over top, but he never gets started, Flowers.
Right.
No CC lands. They just get stuffed at the beginning of the play, so you don't even apply Plasma for the Kai'Sa to dive in, and it's immediately shut down.
Well played from 100 Thieves, but now we might see yet another dance in the river, this time in the south side. Let's see if 100 Thieves can find the engage they're looking for here. They will get the defensive ulti out of Pridestalker. They fall back, they hang out here with their control warded brush, and now they're looking to re-engage. 100 Thieves, though, taking some damage. Huhi nearly dead. Not all the way, though. Still alive with about 100 HP. Golden Guardians are the ones doing better here. Kobe, both of our fights so far, the engaging team is the team that loses the fight.
So there was I think a miscommunication there because Ssumday was soaking some damage, and so Huhi actually went back in really deep, but his E connected onto Licorice. And so he's really deep, then he has to walk his way all the way out as Leona, and he took 80% of his health bar trying to walk back out. And so 100 Thieves then, they took so much damage for their front line that they have to give up an objective instead. And this time around, it's simply a matter of health bars there where, all right, well, since I E-connected on the Gnar so deep and he took a bunch of free damage to our front line, we can't fight, we go with Dragon. Okay, it's Dragon number 2. Golden Guardians, though, pretty happy to get right back on trap after the previous dive attempt was stuffed.
Yeah.
Even though they don't get kills, getting Dragon number 2, stacking along here for themselves is going to be nice. Olleh, though, is...
Ooh. Olleh could have been in a lot more trouble there if Huhi's E connected, but since it doesn't, the Nautilus stays alive. Now with a teleport coming in,
Huhi.
it's Golden Guardians turning the tables and slamming Huhi right into him. Olleh picks up that kill and finally gets Golden Guardians on the board 18 minutes into the game.
Yeah, man, it's kind of live and die by Huhi in the last couple ones. The fight where 100 Thieves win, Huhi, a really good prediction E right as Realm Warp is coming through, nails the Blaze, and they get the kill instantly plus the objective. But then the next 2 consecutive plays, Huhi goes deep, he has no flash on Leona as support, and it just leads to 100 Thieves having this deficit in front line, causing them to give up more ground. And 2.2k gold lead now for Golden Guardians with 2 dragons to boot is quite nice. All you have to do now is rotate Ryze into the side lane to split push, get these side lanes down so that you can then set up your dives at the neutral objectives that much more effectively. You want to split push first and then threaten from multiple angles the Ryze plus Nocturne plus Kai'Sa kind of backline death squad that's going to jump in there. And especially if any of these carries, either Abbedagge or FBI don't have flashes, that's where they execute it. So Golden Guardians is built to try and take down these 2 carries, these 2 flashes, diving into the backside, and their split pushing is going to allow them the positioning to be able to do that.
And you saw on your screen right there the effect of that split pushing right now. Licorice's bullying of Ssumday continues well into the mid-game. Ssumday has absolutely no way to answer the Gnar, had to ult away defensively, and now Golden Guardians have mounted the assault here in mid lane. They will break open that tier 1 turret, and that will complete the outer ring of turrets. So Golden Guardians now feels more confident, more comfortable, pushing up into 100 Thieves jungle, setting down some vision of their own. You can see Olleh with the sweeper, getting rid of any wards he might run into from the Thieves, and Golden Guardians are doing everything they can to push forward and control this map.
Yeah, this is a critical game. If we think about the state of the league right now for LCS rankings, if you look at Waiting Room at the beginning of the day, there was a theoretical bracket set up for playoffs if we took the teams right now. But if Golden Guardians win this, then they tie up with 100 Thieves 6-6, and they can actually push very deep here, I feel like, into the upper echelons, because a lot of their losses, too, at the beginning of the split were games where they had big advantages and were unable to close. So
yeah,
I really feel like this has been an upward trajectory of the Golden Guardians.
Totally agree.
And them definitely, you know, looking for one of those double elimination spots for the top 4 in playoffs is a very real possibility.
And I mean, for 100 Thieves, they're not performing to the level that I think a lot of people were expecting them to. Sitting on a record of 6-5, considering they're bringing back that championship roster, people were expecting more. People were expecting this to be one of those top teams, I think. Obviously, Team Liquid and Cloud9 sitting at the top right now, but 100 Thieves really would like to make a powerful showing during the last couple of weeks of play here in, you know, regular season before they can get to playoffs.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, 6-5. If you lose this game to Golden Guardians, you're now tied with them in the standings. 100 Thieves does not want to drop this game, but right now, Golden Guardians continue to build this lead further and further. Over 4,000 gold now. Still have the 2-1 Drake lead. Licorice going to back away now as Closer lands the Sonic Wave. Golden Guardians still with full control over 100 Thieves jungle. And with 45 seconds till the Drake, 100 Thieves going in, looking to make some kind of a play. Ssumday's here on the front line. Ssumday just gets exploded. 100 Thieves. He's coming back now. The zombie's ready to wreak some havoc. Ablazeolive's going to be shut down. Golden Guardian's going to find one back onto FBI. It's a 2-for-1 so far. Golden Guardian's looking to find even more. Huhi and Closer get themselves away. Golden Guardians take the fight with a +1.
Yeah, nice heads-up play from Olleh to recognize the kind of positioning advantage they could have when Ssumday ults there into the wall. They get a bunch of early damage onto the front line again. And since both these teams have pretty significant front lines, when you get an early DPS advantage on the front line, allows you to actually pull off the dive here later on because there's only one peeler you have to work around. But Closer goes pretty deep on that gravity field stun that Abba tries to set him up with. They don't go for the play onto Olleh though, so no more deaths, and it just results in another effective split push there from Golden Guardians as Licorice gets that bottom side tower. This man has done so much. He was the entire gold lead basically early on in the game, and he's consistently split pushing here. Further boosted by the fact that you have threat of a Nocturne, but that is going to get really, really troublesome for 100 Thieves as it moves on. They will even up the dragons though at the very least off the reset. So the threat of the soul is not looming for either side.
Well, I mean, it's also the Cloud Soul, and I'm looking at the champions in this game. None of them are any of those like S-tier Cloud Soul champions that immediately come to mind, something like Hecarim or whatever, right? So I don't feel like this is demanding the same sort of attention that it would if it was an Infernal Soul, a Hextech Soul, anything else really. So they're kind of just content to let those go back and forth. It's not really a big deal. Still a 5,000 gold lead for the Golden Guardians, but Olleh's about to get picked off if he ain't careful. Pridestalker going in looking for the kill on FBI, but a flash away keeps the AD carry safe. Now Closer's stuck in the wrong spot, and Closer will pay the price, and Lost will take the money.
Oh, Licorice on the side is 2v1ing as well!
Nicely done. FBI falls, and the Golden Guardians will find 2 kills for nothing. They still got pretty solid health bars and control over the 100 Thieves jungle.
Golden Guardians are hulking out, Clayton. Oh my goodness. Licorice has been a beast this game. Slowly, methodically, just working the side lane, working Ssumday, creating his own advantage, and then there, 2v1ing, takes down FBI. And it is going to be Golden Guardians with Baron looking to push this one through to the Nexus.
Damn, man, 7,500 gold lead off of this one. Let's take another look, because it looked like Olleh got caught, but Golden Guardians turned it around nicely.
Exactly, this dive comp. So again, they want to play off of Nautilus ultimate, Nocturne ultimate immediately. There, forces the Jinx flash. And then you see Licorice coming by as he's charging up into Gnar. He's like, oh, I'm separated from my team. Well, never mind. I like those odds. He starts beating down on Ssumday and then flashes for the kill onto Jinx. Takes down FBI off of the summoner spell advantage there, while the rest of his team dives in up on the top side. Kai'Sa, Killer Instinct, Lost getting some value as well, and look at that damage dealt.
Boom, baby.
Licorice is another carry for this team.
Licorice having an awesome game here today. He has been one of the players who's had some ups and downs throughout their performances so far this year. There's been some games where he has not looked super great, but this is one of the ones where I'm very impressed by what we're seeing. His split push game is on point. He's team fighting well and having good targeting there. Like you said, being able to recognize, oh, hey, let's just go in and kill FBI. He already flashed. The performance in this one, if Licorice keeps doing games like these, Golden Guardian's going to be looking good. Put another G in there with the GG. And now, 5-2, 8,000 gold lead. It's Golden Guardians with control over the map, control over the game, and they're shoving top lane in. This is the only tier 2 turret left standing for 100 Thieves. The Thieves' back is against the wall, Kobe. It seems like they have no choice but to just try to dig in and defend because they're so far behind now.
Exactly. They have no choice but to turtle now, because remember how we highlight previously, there's the 2 most important summoner spells in this game are these 2 flashes. When you're playing versus a dive comp that has everybody looking to dive in on your back line, literally every Golden Guardians member is like tracking this flash. All 5 of them in chat here are typing the timer at the exact same time. Like, guess what? FBI and Abba are going to be running for their lives.
Well, I hope they have not been skipping their cardio, my friend, because it's not an easy task. Now, Closer eats a little bit of damage. All right, jumps away, no big deal. Golden Guardians have a Guardian Angel for Pridestalker as well. That means Ballistic Missile Nocturne is engaged. He can fly in there with absolute reckless abandon, does not have to care about his own safety, and then the follow-up from the rest of the team will hopefully be in the right spot. We've seen what happens before when Realm Warps are a little bit unfortunate and well prepared for, but that was back a long time ago when the gold lead was much smaller and the game was much closer.
Yeah, now we're sitting at 9.4 thousand gold lead for the Golden Guardians, and 1 minute left on that dragon. There's a Realm Warp out. Those are much more successful. He's also got Baron Empowered Recall. There it goes. No problem there. Should be an easy reset for the Golden Guardians. Grab your control wards. All you have to do, again, since you've opened up the map so much, get your split push going, and if you have wards through this blue quadrant of the jungle, this one right here, then your threat of your dive is just always looming in the backs of the minds of those 100 Thieves carries. They know that if they are not holding hands literally with their front line to peel for them,
get your buddy,
and you're gonna get dove.
Well, we've got, what is that? A little bit under a minute left on those flashes before those are available. And then for Abbedagge and FBI, they'll have a little bit more confidence in their ability to step forward and not be instantly dead. But it will be up to the Golden Guardians to break that confidence, of course. 5 seconds left on the Drake. Golden Guardians have total control of the map. I do not expect 100 Thieves to contest this in any way, shape, or form. And that means Pridestalker and Lost can burn it down for free.
Yep, gonna be there. Dragon soul point number 3 locked up here, and since there's not going to be another neutral objective to try and pull them to on the map for another 2 minutes till next Baron comes up, basically what you want to do is just push all 3 lanes in and increase your advantage by taking away jungle camps. You always have the possibilities of joining anyone who gets into a fight, because so much of your dive comp is about mobility, and you've got all these ultimates that can jump halfway across the map with Nocturne, with Kai'Sa, that you have actually the luxury of trying to play multiple lanes, push them all in, get 100 Thieves boxed inside their own territory, and then you just incrementally keep increasing your gold lead by taking away their jungle camps, denying them any access to that extra income.
And the way that I like to think about it with stealing away the jungle camps is the lead that you're building is actually double the gold value of the camp, because not only are you stealing away the 105 gold or whatever, you're stopping them from being able to get it. So they lose 105, you gain 105, boom, 210 gold difference, baby.
And the only thing you ever usually worry about is like, okay, well, what else would they be doing with their time? If you make them sit inside, go sit in the corner now, go to your room,
hang out with your tower.
Yeah, then they're not doing anything with their time. They're literally on timeout inside their base. You're not allowed to step out into the darkness. They're going for a play, though. Here we go.
All right. Ssumday tried to engage there, but Pridestalker's able to walk on out. Now Olleh tries to turn it around, but it's Olleh against the world. Now the rest of the Golden Guardians ready to follow up here a little bit. They were not able to follow up on Olleh's initial CC, so everybody walks away.
Yeah, I think that's a good call not to over-chase, because the only way that your comp fails is if they effectively peel the Viktor and the Jinx. And if they're all clumped up like that, they can actually do it. Abbedagge is level 16 on this Viktor now, so even though 100 Thieves have been on timeout, he wants out of his room, and he can definitely do a lot of damage if you give the opportunity. We've seen many an AD carry get blown up by Viktor, so Lost has to be pretty thoughtful about how he uses his killer instinct going on. And this is not as poke heavy as the LCK Kai'Sas from mid lane that we have previously seen that we were talking about, like FLICKR going to Ludens and stuff, but he does have a decent amount of AP still with the Nashers, just a little bit more of the auto focus, and we'll see as the clump here for 100 Thieves, they're just trying to group around their 2 carries, give them some peeling power here. Without the Leona ultimate, that's going to be a bit scary, though.
Yeah, Solar Flare used. Golden Guardians. Pridestalker goes for a little bit there, but honestly just takes a whole bunch of damage. Now Licorice wants to jump in, but Licorice might just get exploded. 100 Thieves trying to regroup and reposition. Licorice finally going to get the Gnar bar charged, and huhi goes over the wall only to die. Lost is on a killing spree, and Ssumday is going to join the 100 Thieves support in the graveyard. Next will be Closer.
Ooh,
he's just about gone. The Guardian Angel's going to bring him back, but it brings him back into a world of hurt. FBI joins the crew of death, and 100 Thieves have lost 3 players for only the jungler of the Golden Guardians.
That was a nice one there. Olleh knows only way out is trying to safeguard forward. Get a little pick there. Golden Guardians, Clayton. Honestly, they're just going to leave this base in rubble.
Yep.
Not going to be able to push through for the win, but the damage is really done. They've broken inside. The door is open. They can return at a later date. Yeah, they do have objective bounties on their side here for 100 Thieves to be able to pick up, so you don't want to overextend and allow them some sort of comeback mechanic here to get some more gold into those champs. Here's another look at the start, though. And again, remember, before this replay, the Leona ultimate was just used, so they don't have that for the peel.
Right.
They did get a good Sion knock-up here, but it's still not enough to peel. And they chunk down closer. The backline has to start flashing backwards, and even though their carries don't get dove, they just lose straight up front to back because there's so much of a gold advantage. That was that prediction hook from Olleh. That was really nice. Does get the Guardian Angel out of closer, but he's able to slip away in the end. Regardless, Golden Guardians sweep into the base afterwards. Big rewards there. And he has gone Kraken instead of the later Ludens, which was the poke build that we were seeing from a lot of the other ones. So again, more of the auto attack and better late game. So it really looks good for Golden Guardians here as this Baron's already down to 5K.
All right, Golden Guardians want to try to burn it. Closer is nearby. Golden Guardians going to stop DPS on the objective and instead turn away over to the fight now that 100 Thieves are committing to. That 100 Thieves have already lost their top laner in, but they will get a trade 1-for-1. Ssumday's body will zone away the rest of the Golden Guardians, buying the 100 Thieves time to kill off Licorice.
Clay, that is 14 seconds before Dragon as well. This game is getting interesting. Let's see about this re-engage. There are no engaged ultimates on 100 Thieves. Leona does not have it ready, but Olleh's in.
Olleh going for the dredge line. However, he eats a lot of damage from the carries of 100 Thieves. And now the Golden Guardians got to be careful. Lost goes unstoppable, but Ablazeolive falls. Pridestalker and Lost versus FBI, Abbedagge, and Closer. 100 Thieves, Kobe, are fighting back from an 11,000 gold debt.
Timeout is over. Flowers are busting out of the room, and they're going to be able to get themselves to Cloud Soul Point here. Evening up the Dragons, 3 and 300 Thieves fight their way out. The Jinx and the Viktor remain alive. Let's take a look here in the flip the switch replay. This Baron was burning down too. I believe it was 5K at this point as they approach 6K health on the Baron, so they know they have to go. Leona ultimate into Sion ultimate gets these Zonias very early out of a blaze, but then, yes, you can focus down this Sion, but he gets 2 lives. Even though Ssumday got pushed around all game long because of the passive, it's another pseudo frontline. And that's why we cautioned against the late game of the grouped up 100 Thieves. 2 immaculate teamfight carries behind a double front line there with the Sion passive. And then the re-engage in the 3v4 where Pridestalker wasn't even here. So that was a very reckless re-engage and a very costly one, as it did also give over and cede full control of that dragon. Lost now got hit.
Lost, what are you doing, buddy? He's in a real bad spot. Rooted up, but the cleanse is going to save him. Now the Golden Guardians are on the counterattack now. Closer's got to disengage. Ssumday's going to be killed first. Pridestalker's taken low, but he ain't dead yet. Ablazeolive tries to fight 1v4, and I'll tell you that went about as well as you would expect. 1-for-1 trade. The 100 Thieves carries are officially online.
Yes, they are. Viktor, 4 core items. The death cap's completed there for Abbedagge. Blue buff on top of it. This man is pumping on Viktor, and you've got Jinx resets to have to be aware of here on the side of Golden Guardians. They're going to take this opportunity, though, to start up once again on the Baron. You got to be careful with this one. Closer, if he steals it, it's not only a Baron stolen, it is an objective bounty shutdown, the most expensive kind as well, with the neutral objectives being based at 500 and increasing with the amount that you are behind. So 100 Thieves have so much slingshot potential in this game. They're already winning fights, and they're going to be collecting bounties soon as well.
Oh man, that once 11,000 gold lead is now back below 9,000. Abbedagge, as you already said, on 4 core items plus the boots. Very, very strong in the Viktor. That Jinx also with the 3-item power spike, where we generally consider hyper carry marksman to become real champions at that point. This is scary, man. Golden Guardians could seriously lose this game against these 100 Thieves hyperscaling carries, but now Closer's gonna be caught. Nicely done from the Golden Guardians, but it's only gonna get a Guardian Angel, and now 100 Thieves are trying to fall back. Abbedagge is down. Huhi's gonna be taken low. Closer still drawing the aggro, looking to find some sort of a kill onto Lost, and the man's gonna get it. Closer still being able to save this fight. He'll finally die, but Pridestalker can't kill FBI. Licorice is still here on the front line. Golden Guardians have lost 200 Thieves have lost 2. A game that had no kills for 15 minutes is becoming a bloodbath in these late game fights.
And 100 Thieves have officially scaled. Here comes the objective shutdown as well. Slow onto Licorice. Gale Force in.
If that zap hit, he was dead. If that zap hit, it would have slowed him down enough that they could have got the damage. FBI tries to disengage. He does not want to get Rune prisoned here. If he has to give up Ssumday, hey, he'll do that. Ablazeolive still trying to chase the AD carry, but he can't quite get the range that he needs. Rockets being fired off. Fishbone's doing a little bit of work. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to hit the mark. With Licorice ready to transform, huhi and FBI can't find anything back, so a good pickup there for a freebie kill onto Ssumday.
And that could mean Baron, because this death timer is desynced. Nobody else is going to be in the fountain for another 30 seconds there for Golden Guardians. They can move right out to the Baron. Teleport for Ssumday is available, so he's got Unleashed Teleport. If 100 Thieves can buy him that 30 seconds to revive, he can teleport back out to this Baron, but Golden Guardians aren't going to give them that time. They're rushing right into it, and they melt this thing now.
Yeah, you're talking
Nobody's
about
tanking it, though.
You're talking about buying time. Time is expensive once you're at the full build point of the game or close to it. Golden Guardians will burn the Baron down, taking it down to half HP already. Sonic Wave over the wall from Closer. He knows it's in there. Pridestalker using the paranoia, wants to be ready for this. They do not want to burger flip this Baron. They want to secure it safely, and they do so. Well done from Golden Guardians.
Great denial there. Golden Guardians pick up the Baron, and now the transition over to Cloud Soul, Clayton. You've got Nocturne heading from base with no ultimate, but it was a Baron-empowered Rico, and 100 Thieves I don't believe had vision of it. So as long as you know they didn't have vision of it, they're not going to rush into the situation, and Golden Guardians get the recall off. They get the base for Pridestalker. Actually pretty big without any sort of rush there from 100 Thieves. Now everybody, even 5-on-5, setting up for the Dragon Soul.
And remember, the Dragons have been back and forth this whole game. Both of our teams are on 3. Whoever gets it, one way or the other, it's Soul. Let's see it. Licorice here with the Guardian Angel on the Gnar, ready to revive if he needs to jump in. However, he has no Gnar bar charge. Now 100 Thieves, they're going to aggro the Drake, walk right back away. A little bit of lasers coming out there from Abbedagge. Golden Guardians still looking for their chance, looking for the moment. They want to allow Licorice to build up that Gnar bar if he can. Drake at half HP, Closer's in the pit, Pridestalker's in the pit. Jungler's getting into a little bit of a one-on-one as huhi's ready to go in, but huhi's going to be killed in the front line immediately. Licorice taking the kill on that one. Dragon is low, and it's going to be claimed by Closer. Licorice into the Guardian Angel now as 100 Thieves are still looking to fight back. Licorice comes back to life. 100 Thieves very low HP on their AD carry. It'll be 1 kill for 1 kill. Never mind, make it 2. Acathian Rain from Lost.
I still can't believe he stole that with a Q, I believe. Closer was out of the pit. Golden Guardians don't care, though. They're all right. You got Soul, we got your base. We've got Baron, and we're pushing in.
They've also got the man advantage. That critical kill onto Abbedagge, desynced from the other 2 deaths. They're pushing towards the Nexus turrets now. There's also an open inhibitor there in mid lane. Ablazeolive with an Everfrost root into a stasis to keep himself safe as well. Licorice trying to back off, doesn't want to soak too much extra damage here. Just buys enough time to put the auto attack into the inhibitor. Now 100 Thieves is looking to get some sort of a counterattack. Ssumday looking to cut off Licorice from the rest of the team. Licorice immediately ready to slam Closer into the wall as he chases. Closer will heal up back off of the Wolf Camp. Olleh now the target of the rest of the Thieves. They'll chase him down, they'll grab that kill. Rampage for FBI, 100 Thieves still alive. Their base is hurting though.
I want to see that Dragon Smite replay, okay? Because it was also an objective shutdown. The Closer's not done though. He wants Licorice's life as well. 2v1.
He'll try to find it, but the transformation, split-second timing, keeps the Golden Guardians top laner alive and puts Closer in the dirt for 50 seconds.
You could feel that one from Licorice Flowers. He was like, get off me! The kill as he transforms. Pridestalker getting him the time. My goodness. All right, here it is. I swear, Closer hops out of the back of this dragon pit and still gets it. Look, he's getting
Sonic Wave, baby.
Fear tethered. Okay, we had fight on top side, whatever. I'm looking at Dragon Health, 2.5k here. He hops out, he turns around, and he literally Qs it. I was right, for 32 health. The objective shutdown and the Dragon Soul. Flowers.
That's a big deal, and it turns into
that is a valuable Q.
Yeah, that's sometimes some Qs are worth more than other Qs in a game of League of Legends, and that, my friend, is a high value Q. Beautiful stuff coming out from Closer, but the challenge still remains for 100 Thieves to survive the Golden Guardians onslaught. Yes, they're scaling. Yes, they're powerful. But also, yes, their base is really messed up. This thing is busted all over the place, and that means they've got to defend further. You do not want to get triple inhib. The difference between 2 and 3 is massive. Having to deal with the double super minions in every single lane. 100 Thieves looking for their chance here. Licorice, I don't know what the hell that was, but it was not what they needed for the Golden Guardians.
Flowers, he did so much all game long, carrying Golden Guardians, beating Ssumday down in the top lane. Huge CS advantages, huge lane priority, split pushing advantages, setting them up for these team fights, but now another death inside the base here, and 100 Thieves. You talked about how expensive time is.
Yeah.
It was all just paid for by the death of Licorice. Now they can farm it out with the double inhibitors down, wait for those things to respawn, and they're even just making a beeline right back down through mid lane into the face of those supers. I mean, this is full late game Viktor. This is full level 18, full build, okay? So it doesn't matter what went on in the early game. The reality is now he's done, okay?
Yeah.
This is full late game, and FBI only has one more BF sword to upgrade into his Infinity Edge in inventory, and he'll be done scaling as well. He'll be full power Jinx. As soon as he gets to upgrade that, I mean, this has come full circle, my friends. Golden Guardians, another massive early game, but stumbling here at the end.
All right, so let's go ahead and take stock of where everything's going to be, because these timers are very important. The Baron is going to spawn in less than a minute, but the inhibitors for 100 Thieves will both be respawning in between 1 and 2 minutes from now. Now, those will both be up in time for the Elder, but I'm curious to see how Golden Guardians plays.
Okay, we also got to hype up some of the possible crazy situations that can occur. Late game with an exposed base, Realm Warp can be a game changer.
Yes.
So can Realm Warping in and dropping a teleport ward for Licorice, for your Gnar. There are lots of things you can combo when you have these possibilities of the late game long range mobility spells. So, you can Realm Warp minion lines up even further to try and get to take off the backdoor bonus.
Yep.
There's lots of options here for Golden Guardians. They're going to have to get a little bit creative. They're still looking for picks. They're still looking for dives, but this time around, it's a defensive Nocturne ultimate and a cleanse. Well done there from huhi from 100 Thieves. With just that Leona ultimate, he gets out 2 pretty decent cooldowns.
And as the pressure in bottom lane continues from Licorice's split push, it's Golden Guardians making a call for the Baron, but now it's going to be tricky. Ablazeolive and Licorice back in the base. Golden Guardians over at the Baron, but now they're going to back away. 100 Thieves moving back to regroup with Ssumday. Man, every time this screen comes up, I have to just send my brain into overdrive mode because the base race multi-fight potential is always wild.
Closer has stolen many objectives in this game already. Can he get over to behind that Baron? He's the hope.
He's on the way.
He's going. There's the
Olleh flashes on the way, but now, nope, the Baron's going to be secured by the side of the Golden Guardians. Meanwhile, the 2v2 back over in the bot lane isn't going to lead to anything just yet, but the 100 Thieves are ready to collapse and go after Olleh here on the top side of the river. It'll be a trade. Baron for Olleh. We'll see if 100 Thieves can get anything out of that. The Elder spawns in 15 seconds, and all the inhibitors are ready to go again in the 100 Thieves base.
That's actually going to be massive here. Now, Baron does allow you to split a bit stronger, puts more threat on the minion waves, but if 100 Thieves can push out both mid and bottom, they won't have to care about it at all. So Nocturne ultimate in.
But they got to be careful to survive the dive. Pridestalker's looking for FBI, and they're going to get the Guardian Angel. Closer looking to fight back somehow, trying to stay alive in this one. Guardian Angel's popping left, right, and center. Pridestalker comes back to life. FBI's looking to get himself away to safety, and they're going to be able to take down Lost and Ablaze together. Both carries for the Golden Guardians are down. Licorice trying to split push in the bottom lane. I don't know if it means a damn thing. Kobe Abbedagge's going to stop him. Flashing in for the Q1. Not going to find the Q2 just yet. Licorice would have to kill inhibitors to get anything done here, and I don't see that happening with Abbedagge right on his tail. Steric's going to pop. He loses the shield. Golden Guardians have potentially thrown this game. 100 Thieves have scaled up, and 100 Thieves are now in the Golden Guardians Nexus turrets. Pridestalker trying to defend, Olleh trying to defend. 4v2 is not good numbers for a successful defense. And just like that, from an 11,000 gold deficit, 100 Thieves makes their comeback.
Take what's not given to you. Nate Shot's motto, the 100 Thieves take this game where they did not have business doing so. What a comeback there for the 100 Thieves. Picking the 2 late game scaling carries, even with the front line getting bullied early on. The 2 lives of Sion have so much value. So many of those team fights, they still get 1-for-1s because of the Sion passive being that front line. 100 Thieves, they play the long game. They make the comeback a reality.
They scaled up. They had enough time. They were down 11,000 gold. I'm not sure what the stat is on how often a team that falls down 11,000 gold wins, but I will tell you it is not very high. Golden Guardians, though, again, this feels like the most extreme example of their plight so far here in Spring Split. An 11,000 gold lead, absolutely smashing. Ssumday has been shut down, and Licorice is just bopping upside the head with a boomerang, bop, 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 over and over again. But it falls apart. This damn train can't keep the wheels on.
Yeah, it was so close there for them too. Really well executed dives for a lot of the duration of the game, but a couple messed up here towards the end. And I think it was really well done by 100 Thieves to huddle and how they played around Nocturne Ultimate and some of these possibilities, because that's a very scary perspective to play the game from the side of 100 Thieves, and they made good on it.
As soon as 100 Thieves started deathballing and team fighting, they were a force to be reckoned with. Now we're heading over to the stage to join LeTigress and FBI for our Verizon postgame interview.
Thank you, Captain Flowers. What a game that was for an overall 100 Thieves victory. I am joined by bot laner and FBI. We were just talking about how banger of a game that was. Can you give me your breakdown of it and the experience?
Well, I'd say I feel pretty relieved right now after that game, but the whole experience through the game, I feel like Golden Guardians played really well, and they had a very good game plan coming in. I think they were kind of looking to bait the Jinx pick and then play a sort of dive comp, and it was pretty hard for us in the early game, and I think I entered like 2 of the early team fights, so it was just a really good comeback, so I'm really relieved.
Yeah, noting a bit on where 100 Thieves is right now, because you really had to pull it through in the late game. Huhi talked a bit last week about where you're looking to improve. Just wanted to check in from your perspective after a week of practice.
I honestly think that we are a lot better compared to last week, even though we might not have been able to show it this game. I think actually Golden Guardians played very well, but I want to shit on FLICKR tomorrow. I think we're versing FLICKR, yeah.
All right, yeah, looking forward to that one for sure. You're noting the fact that Golden Guardians were playing very well. We got to hear from Anero prior to this game because of that history with multiple players on the 100 Thieves side. Do you ever get hit in the feels or feel like you have a read on the way that they play because of that experience?
Yeah, I think I have a general pretty good idea of what Nick is like as a person. A lot of respect to him. I think he's actually a very good coach, and he's the one who brought me over to NA, so I always have a lot of respect for him, and the game plan coming in from them today was really good, so
yeah.
Props.
Some deep history within this matchup. FBI, congrats again on the victory, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
Well, he seems to think that they're going to do really well against FlyQuest tomorrow, but we have to see how FlyQuest does against CLG today. We'll have that game for you on the other side of the break.